Hello and welcome to my Wonder World. At the African Lion Safari at Warragamba, just outside Sydney, they have an unusual show for everyone to see. It's a snake show where some of the world's most dangerous snakes can be seen. To find out more about these dangerous creatures, I sent reporter Phillip Tanner to see if he could shed some more light on the subject. Here's Phillip's report.
Meanwhile, just a little way away, Phil Tanner, who works for the Acme Chemical Plant Research Unit, has taken his experiments one step too far.
Kill me. Woe is me. Oh, sliver. Oh, cruel, cruel world. Changes. Turn and face the strange. Changes. Excuse me, mate. Can you tell me what snake I am?
Well, you're a carpet python.
All right, well, how did I get to look like this?
You got me beat, mate, but I've never come across a talking snake before.
Who are you?
I'm a herpetologist. My name is Jeff Banks, and we work with reptiles, mainly for the study and conservation of them.
A lot of people are scared of snakes, aren't they?
This comes about from the word go. Everyone's had a Christian upbringing, and it's a shame that they're taught to fear the reptile.
Why are Christian upbringing it?
Well, right in the Bible, they teach you to fear the snake. This comes from the Garden of Eden.
Oh, I don't know what happened then. Why are you so interested in snakes?
Well, mainly that I came from the country and always had an interest in reptiles. I think I've had a bit more fortunate there than most children in the city.
Don't wanna be a richer man. Changes. Turn and face the strange. Changes. It's gonna have to be a different man. Time may change me.
Can you tell me how many different types of snakes are there in Australia?
Approximately about 150 odd, but out of that there's only 30 that are potentially dangerous to man.
Great, thanks.
If ever you're out in the country, one precaution you should always take, you come to the long grass, don't run through it, just walk. Because snakes are deaf, they don't have ears, but they do pick up vibrations through their belly scales. So just take a little time when you're going through that long grass, thistle or stubble. It could save your life.
But I can't trace time. Yeah.
Well, this is a mainland tiger snake, and not a lot of people realise that Australia does have the 8 most venomous land snakes in the world, drop for drop with venom. This particular snake is milked of its venom, and from that comes our polyvalent, which is a cover-all for all venomous snake bite throughout the world.
amazing. We'll have more for you after this break. Right, Woody?
Simon Townsend's Wonder World.
7:30 Wednesday, it's Silver Spoons.
It's got me now. And that's made him a dependable, responsible, mature man.
And then at 8, it's the Facts of Life.
My father just sent me some fabulous fabric from Hong Kong. You can bring your new design to life, and I'll have a new dress for the dance. It won't take that much material. I am only a size 7. Where? Your feet?
Great comedy double, 7:30 Silver Spoons and Facts of Life at 8.
Now, little girls who love horses can have everything for hours and hours of horseplay. Horse Love and Western Barbie and Dallas, Ken and their country vehicle and horse trailer, with tools they can use and a winch that works. Big enough to take them all wherever they go. Tough enough for trail riding and smart enough for the best horse shows. Western Barbie's country vehicle and horse trailer from Mattel.
Early one morning, I'm walking down the street and I'm feeling fine. Got a lot of friends to meet, see 'em out on the street around breakfast time. Don't look, don't stop, gotta get home to our cold, cold pops. Cocoa to the rescue, Cocoa to the rescue, shut the door. Cocoa to the rescue, Cocoa to the rescue, give me some more.
Kellogg's Cocoa Pops, just like a chocolate milkshake, only crunchy.
Welcome to my wonder world.
I think we should have some music next. And what about a music clip from the group U2? This one I've got now was filmed in Paris, and you even get a glimpse of the Eiffel Tower. And it's full of things to entertain you in the clip. There's a flame eater, a juggler, let me see my notes here, an acrobat and a tightrope walker. And it's all centred around what looks like an old castle. There's some excellent fast guitar work and lively performing by the band. Here's U2 with Two Hearts Beat As One. Right, we've got a story now, and it's about floating. Floating is the one sensation that can totally remove all physical tension. At least that's the philosophy of a man who claims he's got the perfect answer for people who can't relax. It's called the float tank. It's just like a big bathtub filled with salty water. You climb inside and just simply let your troubles float away. This fascinating story from Edith Bliss.
Are you a tense person, full of stress? Are you carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders? Well, relax.
Dream, 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 dream. Dream, dream, dream when I want you. In my arms when I want you.
In this, the float tank. Well, this whole thing sounds really amazing. What's the actual principle behind it, though?
Well, when you're in the tank, you're in a situation of sensory isolation. You can't see and you can't hear, and you can't feel the water that you're floating in. You're just like a mind in space in there. You're not even aware of gravity.
Wow. But what makes you float so easily?
The Epsom salts in the water. There's about 280 kilos of Epsom salts in here.
Really?
It's just like the Dead Sea. It's very, very buoyant to float in.
What's it actually like inside?
It's very cosy. It's warm and it's nice. It's dark, and you just feel very safe and very relaxed in there. Just within a few minutes you become profoundly relaxed after getting into the tank.
And how often should you actually go in a tank?
Most people go in about once a week, and that really keeps stress and strain completely at bay.
So all those high-powered executives can let it all hang out for a little while.
Right.
Because of the profoundly relaxed state that you're in when you're in the tank, your mental activity reaches a level beyond intellect. Now, all that really means is that you can learn really quickly without any concentration and without any effort. So imagine putting a tape in there so that you can listen to it and learn how to speak French or Spanish. Or maybe you want to stop smoking, or maybe you want to lose weight. Maybe you need success motivation. Let me in.
And all your charms whenever I want you. All I have to do is dream, 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 dream.
How long do you actually spend inside?
40 to 45 minutes most people spend in there each time.
And what are people's reactions when they come out?
They love it. They're really relaxed. They're just glowing. It takes years off people's faces, And they feel the benefits for up to a week, and the benefits are actually measurable for up to 3 weeks after being in the tank.
Hi. How does it feel?
Oh, that was sheer bliss, Edith. I feel like I've been away to the country for a week.
Well, it cost you $17 a session. Do you consider that money well spent?
Oh, look, I paid more for that. I'm coming back again.
When I feel blue in the night and I need you to hold me tight whenever I want you, all I have to do is dream.
Oh, wow. Those self-improvement tapes really work. You know something? I could get my own show. Then I could have a phone in my Mercedes. Maybe I should buy a dog.
Good on you. We'll have more. It's fascinating, isn't it? We'll have more after this break.
Simon Townsend's Wonder World.
Uncle Pete's Toys at St Leonard's and here at Blacktown are two of the largest toy supermarkets in Australia. We carry Australia's largest range of toys and we import direct, so there is no middleman with the majority of our products. We are a one-stop toy supermarket. Our standard discounts are given off the marked prices at the register, such as Lego 19% off catalogue price, Fisher Price 28%, Tonka 20%, Cyclops 25% off recommended retail year-round, and a huge range of Barbie, including the camper van at $49.95. In fact, we will meet anyone's current offer, providing they have the goods in stock.
They can't compete with Uncle Pete.
That's right, and we guarantee satisfaction or your money back. If you want to save money and select from Australia's largest range of toys, come and see us at St Leonard's or Blacktown soon.
Frosty Fruits, with the all-natural tang of tropical fruit, nothing artificial. Paul's Frosty Fruits really bite through your thirst.
Look at this incredible offer from CBS ColecoVision. If you buy CBS ColecoVision now, you not only get the only system with arcade-quality graphics, gameplay and sound effects, plus the sensational Donkey Kong cartridge, but you also get Expansion Module 2 that lets you play the sensational driving game Turbo absolutely free. $99 value absolutely free. It's not just another cartridge, it's a whole new game. So buy CBS ColecoVision now and get the Expansion Module 2 absolutely free.
Welcome to my Wonder World.
So much loose skin. Remember the days of wireless? Well, of course, these days it's called radio, and it's very different to what people listened to before the introduction of television in Australia. People actually, in those days, used to sit around big radio sets in their living rooms, engrossed in the serials and entertainment of the day. Maurice Parker has been talking to a man who really knows all about the wonderful era of the wireless. Here's his report.
This is the man. We now call them disc jockeys. In the old days, before television, they were known as announcers, and they were a friend to the whole family. What was it like before television?
Well, of course, the records were generally larger, and they carried drama and sport and comedy and all those wonderful ingredients to a normal, balanced, healthy suburban life.
So when people came home, rather than switching on the television, they switched on the radio?
Absolutely. They heard some of the finest young talent then that Australian radio had to offer. People like Peter Finch, Rod Taylor, Leonard Teale, Michael Pate, Ross Higgins, Johnny Lockwood, really unknown young fellows like that who did go on to make a reasonable name for themselves.
What kind of things could they listen to?
OK, you might start off and you would hear the Dad and Dave series, which was family situation, or you might hear Mrs. Obbs or Fred and Maggie, which were family shows.
Really?
What people come home and put up their feet after a hard day's work and want to watch is almost the same as they wanted to hear in radio times. Like Dr. Paul is now a country practice. Life with Dexter is Kingswood Country. BP Picker Box is the Ford Super Quiz. The Cattleman series is the Dallas series. And really, what we're watching now isn't that much different to what people listen to on radio. I mean, these people were masters of suspense and intrigue, and it was a very exciting medium.
So with radio, your imagination sort of was created through the speakers, wasn't it?
It was a matter of your mind's eye. You had a very different mental picture than what anybody else did because, well, your imagination is limitless. If you hear, say, in an episode of Dragnet or Nightbeat, that there's a guy walking along a dock and the villain is coming up behind him about to hit him on the head, there's 1,000 ways you can visualise that in your mind. Really, it was a very exciting, fun medium.
Look, everybody knows television. We've all grown up with it. You know, why should we be interested in this sort of old radio stuff?
Well, when the album The Wonderful Wireless came out, it did 50,000 copies. Yeah, people do want to... I mean, you can't resist Superman, can you?
Well, no, I can't.
These people often went out live on a radio drama, and if they had a script and the girl read the guy's line by accident, which often happened, they couldn't stop and say, roll back the tape. What they had to do was they just had to try and find a way out of it, and they had to be very fast. They had to ad-lib and jump lines around, and often would just be having frozen faces trying to stop from cracking up.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Maurice Parker. Welcome you once again to Drama Hour. Last week we left Betty on top of the refrigerator.
Get me down, George.
Bang! I think someone's been shot.
She's dead.
There's a fire as well. And a horse.
Oh, no, there's a horse coming.
Find the keys to the horse.
Are these people stupid or what?
Stay tuned next week for another episode of Drama Musical Hour. Good night, Australia.
The wonderful days of old-time wireless. Time for the viewer segment, and today's musician is Gary Singh, who recently got quite a surprise on his birthday, his own set of drums. And who knows, Gary could be another Gene Krupa in the making. Anyway, best of luck to him. Here's a fascinating book. This is on country music in Australia, and it's written by a guy called Eric Watson. And this will be on its way with the postman to you very soon, Gary, and it's from the publishers Angus and Robinson. Also, some real action and sound with this game. This is the box it comes in. It's called Frisky Tom, and this is the actual item here. And if I switch it on, you'll get, isn't that terrific? You get somewhat... all sorts of marvellous things happen. Tom the plumber trying to outwit mice and keep the water flowing, it says on the box somewhere here. And if the bomb explodes, wherever the bomb is, the game's over. It comes from a company called Bandai Australia. Hope you enjoy it. And from the badge shop, a little souvenir, the fact that you were on Wonderworld, a Woodrow badge. I'll be back with more Wonderworld right after these messages.
Simon loves to reply to your letters, but he can't unless you include a second envelope with your name and address and a stamp on it. You must include this second envelope if you want your photo back.
Simon Townsend's Wonderworld.
There comes a time when you gotta go for a quick draw. Quick draw clutch poppers, new from Tonka. Hitch them to your belt so they're quick on the draw. There's Mustang, Trans Am, Porsche and Camaro. Draw back the wheels, trigger the bonnet, and they're off like a shot.
Tonka toys are tough and always ready to go. Always ready to go.
Quick draw clutch poppers. Hitch them to your belt. They're tough, they're Tonka.
Zonox is here, the world's first double-ender. Twice the fun for the price of one. 2 different video games in one cartridge. On one end, challenge Spike's Peak. Fight off bears. Diving eagles, whoops. Watch out for the abominable snowman. 5 action-packed screens. That's just one end. On the other end, Ghost Manor awaits. Super sound effects, great graphics, 5 more screens. Zonox double-enders, so exciting you'll have to try them. Spike's Peak one end, Ghost Manor the other. Twice the fun for the price of one.
Welcome to my Wonder World.
Bicycles. The world has sure pushed on since the days of the funny-looking penny farthing with its huge front wheel and its, tiny back one. In recent years, there's been a revolution in pedal power. Bicycles of every size and description have hit the roads, even a bike that folds up and goes in the car. Here's Sheridan Jobbins with all you ever wanted to know about bicycles.
Push back, honey.
lots of different types of bikes, and the most simple way to tell the difference is how many wheels they've got. For example, if it's got no wheels, it's probably a frame. If it's got one wheel, it's a unicycle, uni being single or one. If it's got two wheels, it's a bicycle, bi being two, bicycle. Three, it's a tricycle, three-wheeler. If it's got four, it's probably a bicycle with trainer wheels, and, well, this guy's probably a trainer. He can probably show us how it's done.
You look so pretty as you were riding along. You look so pretty as you were singing this song.
I mean, do bikes really keep you all that fit?
Well, you know, it's the whole body's working, your arms, your legs, so,
your
you know,
heart.
and your heart also. It's working overtime, but, you know, a lot of people, they like to keep their weight down, and it's very, very good for that sort of thing.
What is the price range of bicycles?
Well, you know, the bikes range from anything from $100 and they can go up to $2,000.
Why are they so expensive?
Most of them are imported from overseas. You know, there's only a few bikes made in Australia these days.
Bike lasts a fairly long time too, doesn't it? It's not like something that's just going to be thrown out next week or something.
Well, most of the bikes like that are imported, they will last you virtually a lifetime if you look after them properly.
Riding a bike's all a matter of balance, and as long as you've ridden a bike for even half an hour when you're a kid, you'll always be able to do it. The thing is, the later you learn, the harder it gets. So if you're a sort of old person and you're trying to learn like me, and you haven't done it, it's going to be really hard. So they've made three-wheelers for adults, and they're almost impossible. This bike folds down to this big, and you can actually carry it onto aeroplanes. It means you can sort of ride across the country, catch a plane and go into another country.
Well, I pulled in the speed and I tried catching up, but you were pedaling harder too.
This is actually an exercise bike, and it's not going anywhere at all. It's not supposed to go anywhere. What it is to give you all the benefits of riding, so that you use your legs, your muscles, your heart races, you've got to breathe faster. And it's got special features like these little wind resistors on the wheels, which makes it harder to pedal, and a thing known as an ergometer, which tells you how many ergs you're doing. An erg is just a measurement of human energy.
Gee, it must be great riding with him. Is he picking you up after school today? By the way, where'd you meet him?
I met him at the candy store. He turned around and smiled at me. You get the picture?
Yes, we see.
That's when I fell for the leader of the pack.
This is the world's most expensive bike. It's called a Cinelli, and it's Italian, and for about $2,000 you can have a special alloy frame that's super light, super strong and won't rust. You also get suede handlebars and a suede seat, and if you can't ride a bike, well, you can always put it on your wall and look at it, because it's so beautiful.
My folks are always putting him down.
Down, down.
They said he came from the wrong side of town.
What do you mean when you say that he came from the wrong?
Great. Time to say goodbye again, but before I go, here's something anyone who's been in a float tank knows only too well. The world really is wonderful. Goodbye.
Yet more stories from Simon Townsend's Wonderworld coming up in a minute.
If you believe anything can happen, if you believe anything is possible, then you belong with me. So let your mind run free. If you believe you're all a little crazy, if you believe in giving everything your best thing, you belong with me.
Next week on Fraggle Rock, Wembley Fraggle has to find a job.
But if the firemen don't accept me?
The Deputy Soviet Ambassador to Australia, Evgeny Rogov, in a rare interview on Good Morning Australia.
This is like a pistol put at your head. This is an entirely new situation.
when the Americans are trying to achieve a decisive military superiority over the Soviet Union.
Tomorrow, we hear how the Americans answer the Soviet claims against them. I'm Sue Smith. Join Gordon Elliott and myself every morning this week.
On the beach and in the sun, the real thing is so much fun. For the times of your life and the things that you do, Coke is right there with you. Coke is it when you want to feel really fresh. Coke is it, and when you're thirsting for the best. Coke is it, the biggest taste you'll ever get. Coke is it, Coke is it.
Honest shapes have such a lot of taste for such a little biscuit.
There are barbecue shapes, savoury shapes, all kinds of tasty shapes.
Honest shapes have such a lot of taste for such a little biscuit.
Now Arnott's bring you party shapes, a delicious new taste.
Honest shapes have such a lot of taste for such a little biscuit.
And now, in association with the State Bank, an Eyewitness News update.
Good afternoon, Wilson Arm with a news update. The federal ALP caucus today gave its blessing to Senator Don Grimes' asset test legislation, but the opposition parties and the Australian Democrats have in turn decided to use their numbers in the Senate to delay the legislation until February next year to allow further public comment. We'll have full details in Eyewitness News at 6. Prison officers throughout New South Wales may go on strike on Thursday. Guards have already walked off the job at 2 of the state's jails and placed bans on the transfer of prisoners at several others. And there'll be a mass meeting of police officers in Sydney on Sunday to protest about plans to set up a police board to run their department. We'll have more news 1 hour from now.
Next week on Fraggle Rock, Wembley Fraggle has to find a job.
But the firemen don't accept me. Oh, they will, Wembley. You're gonna be so happy.
You're gonna be so scared.
Uber.
They're gonna ask you all these questions you don't even know.
They are, aren't they?
You're gonna die.
You think so?
The delightful Fraggle Rock, 7 o'clock Friday on 10.
Hello and welcome to my wonder world. Bees. Bees is the first story. They certainly give me a buzz at breakfast because there's nothing I like more than some honey on my toast. But bees really are amazing insects, the way they run their colonies and produce bottles and bottles of beautiful golden honey. But of course none of this would be possible without beekeepers. And in this next story, Edith Bliss looks at the real love these keepers have for their busy little workers.
In a colony, there are basically 3 types of bees. You have, of course, first your queen bee, and she rules the roost, and her main function is to keep laying the eggs and keep the colony going. The second kind of bee you have is the drone bee. Now, he's the only male bee in the colony, and his sole purpose in life, well, it's to fertilise the queen's eggs, and that sounds like the best job of all, except that what she doesn't tell him is that he's going to die the minute he does it. And the third kind of bee is, of course, the worker bee. Now, they've got the really rough end of the deal, because as the name suggests, it's their job to collect the nectar and convert it into honey. They're the ones that will sting you,
And they only live for 6 to 8 weeks. Jim, how do you go about actually starting up your own colony of bees?
Well, first off, Edith, you'd need to get a nucleus hive from an established beekeeper who is able to rear queens and establish the colony ready for somebody to take over. Then, if you want to, you might be lucky enough to catch a swarm somewhere.
Turning up in a miniskirt to do a story on bees is probably not the smartest thing I've ever done, but the boys have outfitted me perfectly. To start with, Wellington boots, dungarees, really long gloves that stretch all the way up so the bees can't get in, protective hat and veil, and this little beauty which is called a smoke pot. Now this works in a way to quieten the bees because fire is their natural enemy. So when they smell the smoke, they scurry away to their cells to fill their tummies up with honey because they think there's a bushfire coming. This is called capping, and this is what the bee produces to seal the cell. And believe me, this is the closest I think I'll ever get to real honeycomb. Once you've established your colony, how long is it before you can actually have honey?
Well, it might take 6 months.
The next thing I want to know is how do you actually extract the honey from the honeycomb?
Aha! Well, when you see that the frames are full and capped each side, you take the frames out of the box and then with a steam knife you uncap the top of the frames and that leaves the cell open, you expose the
That's
honey.
really just like wax, isn't it?
It is wax on the top of the cells.
Right.
Yes. It can be used for foundation for the frames. It can be used in ladies' cosmetics. Wax is valuable.
Oh, and car polish.
And car polish, yeah. Boot polish, yes. Now, when you've uncapped both sides of the frame, you then put it into an extractor.
Yum, I love honey. I'll have more for you after this break.
Simon Townsend's Wonder
Well, this is train the Lego special. This new train is something special. Lights and points and level crossing. Remote controls for starts and stopping. Well, go, train, go. Keep rolling down that track. New Lego Railway is the only way to go.
Wonder where Spider-Man keeps his snacks.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man!
He must have thousands and thousands of packs.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man!
They're here, my secret stash of Spider-Man cheese-flavoured snacks. See, they look like my mask, and they're all for you.
Thanks, Spidey!
Spider-Man, cheese-flavoured snacks that look like Spidey's mask.
Spider-Man!
Eat 'em up, eat 'em up.
Spider-Man!
Eat 'em up, eat 'em up.
You're now part of an adventure that goes beyond your wildest dreams. Star Wars: Return of the Jedi. Match the cunning of Jabba the Hutt and his henchmen. Battle the Guardians of the planet Tatooine. Join Chief Chirper in the Battle of the Speeder Bikes and take on the Scoutwalkers. Star Wars: Return of the Jedi. Action figures and accessories from Kenner.
Kevin, are you awake?
Who knows what adventures you might dream up?
Welcome to my wonder world.
Choosing a painting to put on the wall isn't difficult for one family that reporter Maurice Parker met recently. Everyone in the family is an artist, and they paint everything from landscapes to people. And as Maurice Parker discovered, they have a lot of fun doing it. There's only one problem: whose painting gets pride of place on the living room wall?
Yellow is the color of my true love's here in the morning when we rise. In the morning when we rise, that's the time. That's the time. That's the time. That's the time I love the best.
So when did you become a painter then?
Well, I started as a kid. My mother encouraged me when I was little, and I always enjoyed playing around with paint.
Yeah.
So it was a natural progression, I think, then. As I got older, I became more involved and took lessons, and eventually, in 1974, decided to take it on as a full-time occupation.
So what type of things do you paint?
I'll have a go at just about anything, Maurice. Mainly landscapes, but still life, portraiture, character studies.
Green is the color of the sparkling corn in the morning when we rise.
So your family's pretty heavily involved in painting as well.
Yeah, both the kids had the same encouragement from me as my mother gave me as a kid.
Do they copy you?
No, I copy them.
Really?
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of really good ideas from their work. It's so fresh and exciting.
Blue is the color of the sky in the morning when we rise. In the morning when we rise.
How long have you been painting for? You don't know?
No, I don't know.
Why did you start?
Because I saw Daddy painting it, and I thought I'd like to paint as well, so I tried, but I started doing it in the colouring in books.
Yeah.
So then I tried to paint, but the most things I paint lots of people usually in my paintings.
What do you think of Dad's painting?
Yeah, they're good. I always say they're good.
Do you think you'll go on to be a professional artist like Dad?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
How are you, Pat? Oh. Do you like painting too? You do? What type of things do you paint?
Houses.
Houses, right? Would you like to be a painter like your dad?
I'm already a painter.
It's fairly unique having 3 artists in the family, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very unique.
Is it good fun?
It's great fun. We get along well together.
There's one person who doesn't paint, and that's Mum. What do you do instead?
Oh, I clean up and my number one critic. Dad.
Number one critic.
Yeah.
And you just watch the painting happening.
That's right.
What a lovely family. If you belong to an unusual family, why don't you write and tell me? We'll come and do a story about you. Back in a minute.
Simon Townsend's Wonder World.
That's entertainment this week for the 1983 Young Talent Time Grand Final. 6 great contestants battle it out for this year's winner. And we're absolutely delighted to have as our very special guests our very own Debbie Byrne and Philip Gould. It's all there this week on Young Talent Time.
Wait, I can't make up my mind which way to wear my dress. This way or this way? How about this way? Now I need a hat. Are you ready yet? Nearly. Quick, let's go shopping at Barbie's dream store. This hat? Yes, and this necklace. And these cosmetics. I'll buy them all. Now for my date. Oh, Ken, your dream date's ready.
Barbie's dream stores come with 3 different glamorous shops. Dream Date Barbie comes with her own change-around evening gown from Mattel.
Poppin', poppin', just can't stop and poppin', poppin', just can't stop. Poppin', poppin', just can't stop and poppin', poppin', just can't stop. Everything's okay, hopping on your KJs, popping on your KJs, flying on your KJs. The kangaroo jumping shoes, hop away all your blues. No matter what you do, KJs are you. Poppin', poppin', just can't stop and just can't stop. KJ's Kangaroo Trumpet Shows.
Look at this incredible offer from CBS ColecoVision. If you buy CBS ColecoVision now,